Welcome to Mainstream with Harpreet Singh Toor. आप सबनों प्यार भरी सत श्री अकाल, नमस्कार, आदाब and shalom. Today is August 15. Yesterday was Pakistan's Independence Day. Today is India's Independence Day. And before we go really deep into the conversation and discussion, my apologies for starting a bit late because of some technical issues. And please feel free to email at hstoor@gmail.com with any questions. And I'm pretty sure you will also see the number on the screen where you can reach out and have a direct conversation. You can also talk about any issues which you want me to discuss, excuse me, and bring it up. Now let us, I actually want to dissect the August 15 from a different perspective. Yes, there was a freedom from the Britishers, and what kind of freedom, and what kind of countries, not countries are now India and Pakistan both. Few facts to begin with. When India and Pakistan became independent in 1947, 14th of August, 15th of August, the demarcation of the boundaries and everything, it was not even done up to that time. And originally it was supposed to happen around like June of 1948. Then it came down to something like March, and then all of a sudden it was declared that okay, 15th of August it will be. But there are few things behind the scenes which happened, and I always say, history is basically his story. But historians who are dedicated historians, they really look deep into it, and of course it is always analyzed and dug into after the facts. And when the facts come out, some of the people who paid a big price for that, they are not even around. And even till today, now because of social media and some of the conversations, the traveling from both the countries to Western countries and coming together of the Punjabis in these countries, and of course the Bengalis also in these countries, besides the differences of the faith, otherwise culturally, they have started communicating, and a lot of information which was not even discussed, it is coming up now on the social media. And there are some lectures also, and I am going to discuss few things which I actually happened to come across this week, and it is from Punjabi University, Patiala. And I got to thank them, the university, when they put up all this on the program. They call it Rubru. It's a nice program. Gives you a lot of information, and you need to again have to look for the exact information, and most of the information which is being shared over there by Punjabi University, it's more like authentic information than the hearsay. And I was actually listening to one of the professor, I will give you the name right now. Ishtiaq Ahmed is one of the person who also spoke in very detail. He is a political science professor, not a historian. But when you start looking at the facts, facts are facts. Facts do not differentiate between history and politics and political science. Yeah, politics play a different role, in a different fashion, and things happen also, which a lot of time it happens that it may not be what we are looking for. But then again, the people, the politicians who are, I will not hesitate saying that they are smart politicians, but it does not mean that they are statesmen. And I will put up the President Trump of the United States, Prime Minister Modi in India, Johnson from UK. They were all politicians, but none of them was a statesman. And Sunak also is not really a statesman, but we will see how it happens, how the things come across. Right now, when we really look at the world picture, it's different, but I'm going to today talk about what happened in Punjab and Bengal at that time, and who were the people who played the role, the people who actually got killed. More than 1 million people died, close to about 14 or 15 million people, they moved from one country to another country, which was only one country as of the 14th of August. But all of a sudden there were two countries, and that's the number of people who moved. And out of those million plus people who died, 80% were Punjabis. And I'm not talking about based on religion right now. Okay? So let us keep the religion out of this whole conversation. Because if we start looking at the religion, then, some of the people, they are not going to like my comments. We have, within Pakistan, we have Shia, Sunni, and Ahmadiyas. Within India, we have Bajrang Daliye, we have Shiv Sena, we have, RSS, we have Khalistan Commando Force, we have, all these nitty-gritty small organizations. And can they succeed just based on the religion? No, they can't. Because when I was listening to all these lectures, there was one stark example which was given in one of the lecture. If the religion can keep the country together, then why there were two world wars? Because the World War I and World War II, that was fought between the Christians. Right now, Ukraine versus Russia, both are Christian countries. Yes, Ukraine has Zelensky, excuse me, but who is a Jew, but it's a Christian country. And it is Orthodox Christianity, Eastern Orthodox Christianity, and somehow they have decided to break away from Eastern Orthodox, which is Russian branch of Christianity. So can a religion be a cohesive force to keep the country together? No, I don't believe it. And we can look at the facts, look at the history, and also why we, the Punjabis, ended up paying such a huge price. The loss of life, the people migrating, then the women and the girls either being killed or raped or being converted forcefully from the religion which they were born in or which they believed in to the religion which they never wanted to go. I still remember in 1997 when 50 years of independence were celebrated, India Today actually came out with a special issue for the independence. And in that issue, they discussed about the benefits, and they spoke to a couple of people, different in different income group. But one thing stood out very starkly out of that whole magazine. Yes, I can go through it. There are a lot of things which were written in there, but there was one thing which stood out, and that was there was a lady, whenever she will hear the sirens, which the people who live on the border, they know what it is, and blackout will be declared, she will start crying. And later on, when, after the war was over, somebody who was doing research or somehow somebody reached to this lady and asked about it, she said that I was born into a Sikh family. I was a Sikh. Forcefully, I got married to a Muslim. Now I'm a Muslim. Both my kids are the pilots with the Pakistan Air Force. And they go out to attack those Punjabis and beyond. Until they come back, I just can't control myself except crime. And when we see all this, it is very easy to blame somebody. Oh, he did not do it, or she did not do it. But was it like that? Or is it really like that? Let's take a break. After the break, we are going to definitely talk about it, because there are some facts which I want to share with you based on what I have heard. Some of them I experienced. I knew, not experienced physically, but otherwise spoke to a couple of people. Right after the break, we will continue with that conversation. Welcome back to Mainstream with Harpreet Singh Toor. We are going to continue the conversation about the tragedy which happened actually in 1947. Some of the things which historically, few facts. And I will try to talk more about this in my next program also next week. Ram Singh from Kuka part of the Sikhism, from the Kuka Lahar, around 1847-48, right after we lost the Punjab as a kingdom after the death of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, he was the first one who actually made an announcement to boycott the British things, which means what? The post office, the railway, or anything British, because he wanted Britishers to leave. Yeah, we read about Punjab history, we read about the freedom. We also read a lot about Mahatma Gandhi being the the person who actually showed the peaceful struggle, peaceful fight for the freedom. He was not the inventor of this struggle, of this fight. It was the Sikhs who actually were the original people who paid the price to protest peacefully, which actually we learned from our gurus, where they actually paid the price with their lives, Guru Arjan Dev Ji and then Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, for the freedom of religion and freedom of speech and the freedom and equality of humans. And then Guru Ke Bagh Ka Morcha, where the Shromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee actually won the right to run the Gurdwaras, the historical Gurdwaras, through that fight. Nankana Sahib Saka, those are the part of how the Sikhs fought peacefully, which was emulated by Mahatma Gandhi, where he came up with the Quit India slogan at that time. Yeah, he had his own role. I'm not declining his role in this whole thing, or the role of the Congress, but at the same time, there are few facts which I'm going to share right now, based on what I actually learned and did some research, thought about it, and I'm going to share this. And this is something which is actually in the archives at Punjabi University by the lectures from different professors, and that's why it is important for our generation, coming generations, to get education, whether they are back home in Punjab or they are here, or when they come here, land here, they should not stop going to school. They immediately start making money, sending the money back home. That's understandable, but at the same time, they should not quit studying. In 1906, the Muslim League was established, and Sir Mian Muhammad Shafi and Sir Shah Deen, those were the people who actually created Muslim League. And actually Shah Deen was the first Muslim Chief Justice of Punjab at that time. So that is the beginning of the Muslim League. Indian National Congress at that time, which was the main national force to fight the freedom for the Britishers, where Mahatma Gandhi being the face of it, during World War I, Britishers promised that, okay, we'll give you the freedom, which was actually not the complete freedom, but sort of like dominion kind of status, like Puerto Rico has with the United States right now, something like that, which Britishers, after the World War I was over, they went back on that. They never did that. They were like, oh, it was then, not now. It's same thing, you know, like before independence, a lot of things were promised to the Sikhs, but as soon as India got the freedom, they were told, well, those times are not there anymore, those times are changed. And that is something which actually played a major role in partition of India. And yeah, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, who actually was one of the person, and he was given the title of Quaid-e-Azam, which actually was given to him by Mahatma Gandhi. He wrote a letter to him where he called him Quaid-e-Azam. So, you know, these are the facts which are very interesting and fascinating facts. Muslims actually had, there were elections which were happening in 1909 where Muslims will vote only for the Muslims. In 1919, Sikhs were given same status. Sikhs will vote for the Sikhs only the Sikhs will be the candidate, and they will elect their own representatives. But when all that was going on, Motilal Nehru, the father of Jawaharlal Nehru, at that time, him and Dr. Ambedkar, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, they actually came up with this idea about what kind of India should be. And I'm talking about here pre-partition India, and I'm not talking about India and Pakistan. I'm talking about India as a whole, India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh all together. Okay? They said that it will be a country where everybody will have equal rights, even the Dalits. Everybody will have right to education. Women will have equal rights. And voting will take place based on that. There are going to be two national languages. One was Devanagari, which is Hindi. The other one will be Urdu. And both the languages, they are going to be national languages. Even though right now in India we have, I think, about 8 national languages. Punjabi is also one of them, besides Hindi, English. We have Kannada, Bengali, Well, I don't have Indian rupee, any Indian currency in my pocket, otherwise I can read it from there. Well, anyway. And that was something which was a totally revolutionary idea at that point. Because I have seen growing up in the villages that how marginalized people they were being treated, even the Dalits. And also, there was a meeting which took place between the Dravid leader, Dravidian, which is basically Tamil Nadu now, Madras, Dr. Ambedkar, and Quaid-e-Azam, where they discussed that there should be an alternative to the Indian National Congress, how to create that. And in that meeting, they really could not come up with any solid alternative at that time, because it was proposed that, okay, Muslim League should ask for Pakistan, Dravidians should ask for their part, and Dalits should ask for their part. Basically, it was a card to be played to have equal rights, which were being proposed by Indian National Congress, but somehow Muslim League was being kept out of those conversations, out of that discussion. Why? Because an election took place where Muslim League won only 2 seats. Out of those 2, they retained only 1. Whatever happened to how it became from 2 to 1, I don't know yet, but like I said, next week I will try to answer some of those questions. And in that election, the parties actually which won, Muslim League didn't won. Punjab Unionist Congress Party actually, with President Iftikhar Uddin, won in 1930s. That's when it happened. And that is where actually the friction started growing between both Muslim League and Quaid-e-Azam and Jawaharlal Nehru and Gandhi at that time, Indian National Congress. And I'm pretty sure that Subhash Chandra Bose, who also was the president of Indian National Congress only for 1 year, because of his differences between Mahatma Gandhi, he literally decided not to contest the presidential election to be the president of Indian National Congress again. So that is something, that development, how it then galvanized into the next step for the creation of 2 different nation theories. We will talk right after the break. Welcome back to Mainstream. Now we're talking about the creation, the division of basically India. And there is something which I would like to add. But before that, you see my email on the screen. You can always email me your views, your opinion, questions, or anything which you would like me to ask. If you don't want to call in, then definitely you can do that. So let me say this thing, that after Indian National Congress declared that everybody, for a secular India, equal rights, the languages, states have their own right for the language, that yes, national languages are going to be those 2, but states will have the right to teach their own majority language, like Punjabi, Gujarati, Bengali, Malayali, Tamilian, whatever the language it is in that state. Okay, and it was Also, Alma Iqbal, who was also known as Lahori Sikandar, he was the one who actually was one of the force behind the idea of creating a totally separation from India. Even though at that time, in about at least 5 or 6 states, the chief ministers, they were Muslims. You know, Punjab, Bengal, Northwest Frontier Province, Sindh, Jammu and Kashmir, and I think it was Sikandrabad, the other one. Okay, but it was Chaudhry Rahmat Ali from Hoshiarpur who originally came up with the name of Pakistan. How the Pakistan name actually got Pakistan is from Punjab, P, A for Afghania. Afghania, what is Afghania? Afghania actually is north of Punjab, northwest frontier province, which is south of border from Afghanistan, and on the other side it's Iran. Kashmir and Istan. Istan basically was Sindh and south of that. When they came up with that idea for Pakistan, then the question came up, what about Bengal, where they have majority of the Muslims also as a population in Bengal. So that's where this idea of totally breaking down India into different sections started taking shape, or at least it was in the media. Then Savarkar from RSS, it is written in his own hand, in his own writing, and he did it in 1923, that like Germans, in India, Hindus should not let anybody else to live in India, which means anybody who is not a Hindu, who does not go along with them within their philosophy, they are not even humans for them. Forget about being second-class citizens. Yeah, he did mention second-class citizens, but beyond that, he went even to that. And he was of the opinion that they should be killed the way Germans are killing the Jews. And these are the facts which needs to be looked. And people, the historians, it is their responsibility to dig it up and put it out so that the people can understand that how the current RSS is trying, including the Prime Minister of India, Prime Minister Modi, to twist the history. You know, I have said it before, I'm going to repeat it again. When I was in college, I came across this gentleman, who actually was my instructor to teach me the, not the flying instructor, but he was the one who taught about, different variations, the cloud formation, how to study the clouds, how to study the winds, and other things, and how once you are in the air to look at the ground and see where you are and where you are going, and if you are on track or off track, all that stuff. And he said that history is his story. So right now his story is, which is history, is being the Bharatiya Janata Party is trying to rewrite the history. Let me add one more thing here, without taking any side to anyone, that when India became independent, India was not manufacturing, not even the needles themselves. And India right now is an atomic power, along with has its own satellites and everything. It didn't happen overnight in 2014. It was all developmental progress. Yeah, corruption was there. I'm not declining that, and I'm not going to protect anybody which is unprotectable. But at the same time, if somebody tells me that, okay, all of a sudden, everything is hori honky donkey now, just because of BJP government, and there was nothing before that, those people need to sit back and think about it. And just want to add one more thing to it. Somebody asked me to make a video by grabbing some, mitti in my hand and sort of like saying something about taking an oath or something for India or being Indian, or, like last year they were like Ghar Ghar Mein Tiranga. My dad was in army. He fought 3 wars: 1962 China, 1965 Pakistan, 1971 Pakistan. And these people who have no idea what the war is, they are trying to teach me and the people like me what it is to be who you are. I was at one of the parade and I was asked, after meeting and everything, this lady who knew me for some time, she was like, Bharat Mata ki? And I was like, what is she talking about? And then she was again, Bharat Mata ki? And I told her, I said, I will definitely say Jai because you are insisting, but after we meet saying Sat Sri Akal, Namaskar, Adab, do we really need that? Why you are trying to prove that you are more patriotic than me? We are here in the United States. We should be patriotic to this country. Yes, India is our motherland, but at the same time, we should not forget that this is our country right now, United States. Let's take a break. After the break, I will be right back. Welcome back to Mainstream with Harpreet Singh Toor once again. I'm going to try to wrap up probably at a very rapid pace today because we started late, but some of the facts which I'm going to share with you right now. In 1923, I already talked about what Savarkar said. And in 1937 was the meeting between Dr. Ambedkar, Davidian leader, and Quaid-e-Azam, and 1909, I already talked about Muslims voting for Muslim. 1996, got same thing. In 1937, in that election, Congress won and Muslim League lost. That was the election which was actually held, not based on Muslims voting for Muslims, Sikhs voting for Sikhs, but everybody. And Muslim League got only 2 out of 75. Punjab, and I'm talking about Punjab right here, Punjab Unionist Party won, which was not in favor of partition at all. Okay. On the other side, also Ittihad Party, which was also part of that, led by Allah-Baksh, who was also against the partition, his party won. In northwest western frontier, Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, the people of my age, I'm pretty sure they remember that. He was known and he was called as Gandhian Khan, and in the meantime, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, he was planning actually, the Quaid-e-Azam Jinnah, he was actually working on getting to the negotiating table to have the equal rights. And that's where the Congress actually has its own way of looking at it. I can understand Britishers, they had no interest in long-term for India. So Congress refused to entertain any kind of negotiations with Muhammad Ali Jinnah and Muslim League, even though till the date of the partition, he always wanted to have negotiations so that we can have a genuine one country solution before the lines were drawn. And the reason was he knew that if India stays as a one country, none of the fanatics from right wing, doesn't matter whether those are Muslims, Sikhs or Hindus, they will be able to dominate the way it is they are being dominated right now. In Pakistan, yeah, it is Muslim faith, but look at that. Shia and Sunni, they are killing each other's kids. Then we have Ahmadiyya, they are being killed. In India, we have Bajrang Dalye and Shiv Sainiks and people from RSS and some other fanatic right-wing organizations who are actually killing the Muslims and the Christians. Look at Manipur. For 70 plus days, that women, those who were actually raped and then killed, and they were actually videotaped and put on the social media. Nobody knew about it. Even today, when Prime Minister of India, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, when he spoke from the Red Fort, he said, oh, the peace will be established in Manipur. Peace will be established. I'm glad that at least there is something, he's admitting that there is no peace right now in Manipur. He was quiet so far. And I will not be surprised that before the next year's election, like what happened in 2019, it may happen again in 2024, before the election. I will never forget that when he said that 56-inch ka seena, I don't know where that 56-inch seena is when it comes down to the minority rights. Look at what happened. The Muslims got killed. Even the FIRs not written. And also, myself being a Sikh, why all of a sudden there is so much sympathy about the Sikh causes? Right here in New York, we had this issue in the upstate about a Sikh police officer being declined to sport the turban and the beard. And all of a sudden we have a statement from Honorable Jai Shankar that this is something which should be condemned. We don't need you, sir. We already have a law in this state. And the assemblymen and the senators of this state, they are already here. They already got it done, even before you issued the statement. I know you are a very smart person, but I want you to rise above this low-level politics. You are supposed to talk about the bigger picture down what the India should be playing as a country of its stature, based on its population and its current GDP and where it is heading. Those are the things which we need to actually look at and discuss. And all of a sudden, Jagdish Titler is again in the picture. Nobody was talking about it. Why Jagdish Titler now again in the picture? I'm not saying he did not commit the crimes. But my issue is why, when the election comes in, these issues are brought up again. For me, you are just putting up the salt on the wounds, because no justice has been provided since '84. Doesn't matter whether it was Congress or the BJP government. Both of them, they looked out to the other side till it's about election time. And then all of a sudden they start raking up all these issues again. We don't need that. Yes, we also have our own issues within our own community. I will not decline on that. We have these fake Khalistanis also. We have these people who actually attack the consulates, which is a heinous crime. They should not do that. I have condemned it before, and I am condemning it again, and I will condemn it again if they do it. They have the right to protest, but they have no right to destroy any property. Doesn't matter how much differences they have. That's not how the things work, and that's not how the things get sorted out. To get the things done right, we have to be right. And I will not be surprised if there are forces behind these people who are actually instigating them. And some of the people, they may even not know what they are doing because intellectually they may not be there. They may lack the proper education. They may lack the proper, how you separate the, like they say, way from the chaff. In Punjabi, they say, kanak nu turi nalon separate karna. The smart people know kanak is khan vaste, turi is for animals. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਣਕ ਆ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹ ਡੰਗਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਾਉਂਦੇ ਔਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਖੁਦ ਤੂੜੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਖਾਂਦੇ. And some of these people, they may even not know that. What does it mean? And those are the people who are trying to lead the community. I'm sorry, but yes, I don't agree with their methods. But at the same time, we did not get the justice either in 1947 or now. And yes, everybody talks about there should have been an independent sixth state. That is something which definitely I will talk about in the next show next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Till then, good night and good luck.